Hey everyone, I'd like to show you how to go to the stream with just one spool of tippet for each individual size that you carry out there and never run out. I mean, how many times have you been out on the stream, you go to pull tippet out, 18 or 20 inches come off and the spool's empty. So then you're digging in your pack, you're pulling out an extra spool of tippet that you're carrying, you put it on your holder and then you redo the whole process. And no matter how hard we try, we look at this tippet spool and we can never really tell how much is on there. So we always bring backup, right? We always have those extra spools of tippet with us. And I love being a minimalist, and the more you bring, it's more bulk. And the more you bring, that weight starts adding up. So I came up with this really easy hack of how you can just carry one spool of tippet, and it really ends up being a never-ending supply. And the key is you always know when it's almost empty, and before the next time you go out, you can refill it. So let me just show you this super easy hack. So the first thing you want to do is you want to have a fresh spool. So this is 7X Trout Hunter, and I'm using Trout Hunter as an example because this hole is larger than the typical holes that you find in a lot of tippet spools out there. So I always start with a brand new, fresh spool of tippet. That's key. So I never do anything with it. So you've got that rubber band. So every spool has some sort of a rubber band protecting or holding in that tippet. So this is the original spool of tippet. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a full spool of Cortland 7X and I'm going to put it on top of this spool. So what we want to do is, I went ahead and I've already prepared it. I just put a simple loop in there, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to loop this spool on top of this spool. So what I've done is I've looped this 7X to this 7X. So for the next step, you need to take a drill, and I put the largest drill bit I have in, and you can see that the hole of the Trout Hunter is too large. So what we need to do is you can just simply take a paper towel, and I fold it over, and then you can take your drill bit and just kind of slowly work it in there. And you can see it holds it nice and tight. You want to make sure you take the elastic off of this spool of tippet, and we're just putting this spool on top of the fresh spool underneath here. So we're keeping the band on the original spool of tippet, and that's key. And you want to do it with a drill because you want it to come off perfectly straight. If we wind it on by hand, which I've done, it doesn't work because it gets too twisted. So we want this perfect line coming off of this spool so it lays perfectly on the new spool. You're just going to hold this spool right here, and it's pretty simple. You're just going to wind it on. It's just coming off of this spool. It's going perfectly straight onto your new spool here. Now, I just took this entire spool of Cortland and I have it on top of this. So now I have two spools of tippet on here. So let's put another one on. So the next thing I'll do is I'll just take another spool, and you can just tie a simple uni knot. It doesn't have to be any big deal because you're just holding it together just so you can get on the spool. So I'll just tie a quick uni knot. So once again, I just connected this spool to the other tippet, and we're just going to go ahead and wind this on. So when this is done, I'm going to have 3 spools of tippet on one spool. So there you go. I now have 3 spools of tippet on this one spool. And the beauty is, as I pull tippet off and I finish that top layer, I'm going to hit the knot and I know I'm on my second one. But here's when you know you're getting ready to run out. When I'm finished that, I know I'm down to that loop knot that I put in, and now I'm into the original spool of tippet. So when I finish fishing for that day, before I go out on the stream the next time, I know I need to replenish this. So I always make it a habit. I usually replenish by at least 1 spool of tippet every time I go out because I never run out. And ever since I've done this, I have, knock on wood, I have literally never run out of tippet while I'm out on the stream. It's a real easy hack. I love being a minimalist, and this will absolutely help you cut down on the bulk and never run out of tippet. And don't forget to put a rubber band on top of this before you put it on your tippet holder. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I'm happy to help you out. If you liked it, I'd appreciate if you give me a thumbs up. And as always, tight lines, everybody. I'll talk to you later.